The United Kingdom is the cornerstone of the West. Like every country on earth, there are good things they've done and some not so good things. But in the context of shaping human society, the UK's contribution to humanity cannot be shortchanged. The UK gave us the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, constitutional governance. They were an early trendsetter of human rights with the abolition of slavery in 1807. They championed free market capitalism in the 18th century, and they have blessed humanity with cultural exports in media and art from Shakespeare to the Beatles. The UK gave us groundbreaking scientific advancements in physics, mathematics, technology, and they gave us the English language, which I use every day. The United Kingdom is a valuable gem for this world, and has been for nearly a millennium. But nothing lasts forever now, does it? It seems as though the so-called leaders of Britain have been feverishly working night and day for the last 30 years to corrode, dismantle, infect, and destroy this cultural and economic powerhouse, and utterly cast away to the trash bin the British legacy of 1,000 years. The UK is in very, very serious trouble today. Since the mid-1990s, under the European Union's relaxed migration expansion policies, illegal migration has progressively exploded, with the foreign-born population nearly doubling between 2004 and 2016. Today, untold numbers of immigrants from countries like Iran, Pakistan, Somalia, Sudan, Romania, they cross the English Channel from France into Britain in a well-funded and organized flotilla of small boats, most of which were paid for by George Soros and his comrades. Organized grooming gangs of Pakistani immigrant men raping and abusing young native white girls for over 30 years, and completely covered up by national and local governments, including law enforcement. Due to class bias, most of the girls come from working-class neighborhoods, for fear of escalating racial tensions, or for being called racist or Islamophobist. Orwellian clampdown on speech and expression by the government ensure that any criticism of their destructive actions are quickly extinguished, sending hundreds of citizens to prison for Facebook and Twitter posts. Literally, they average about 30 arrests a day for social media posts. One woman received over a 3-year sentence for a nonviolent post that she immediately just deleted. You can criticize Israel, Western societies, America, President Trump, no problem. But don't you dare disparage the migrant hotel that's down the road from your home, or those Islamists that push for Sharia law in Britain. Two-tier policing is rampant, convicting British citizens for mean social media posts and flying the Union Jack or St. George's flags, while setting free foreign violent criminals and abusers of women and girls. There's at least one documented case of a 16-year-old girl that was abused by multiple illegal migrants in one of the many grooming gangs that, upon reporting to the police, was charged with soliciting and sentenced to over 2 years in prison. Watch this.
I can't even begin to comprehend what that must have been like.
It's been horrible. It's been when they arrested me, in my statement, I said I didn't go no comment once. I named everyone that I could name. I stopped the interview and took them to the house that it happened in because they said it would go for me. Yeah, the 2 people that I did name didn't get charged. And they said to me that I would stand trial on my own because I was a juvenile. I stood trial with both the adults. And I got sentenced with them and everything. I actually went to jail and put on the sex offenders register.
How long were you in jail for?
They sentenced me to 2 years and I've done 14 months.
And
at 16 years old?
At 16, yeah.
And
I'm not British, obviously. I'm American. But this is heartbreaking, and it makes me very angry and very sad. Disregard the fact that something like 80% of my ancestors came from the UK. My worldview, my language, my values, my morals were all developed from this society. I'm not British, but it's foolish to deny that the way of life and the societal framework that has nurtured me and raised me and they all have their roots in Britain. So this is not some foreign land that's being so terribly abused. This is part of me, whether I wish to admit it or not. And if you're an American, and if what is happening in Britain does not disturb you, then I don't think you understand where you came from. Like America, the responsibility of destroying Britain lies not with one party. Labour or Tory, they're all responsible. They're all being led by soulless ghouls in the WEF, the EU, and the whole evil club of devils. Keir Starmer, the man with the personality of a scrap of cardboard, promised change when he ran for office. No one believed him when he barely won the election, and the low expectations of the British people have been completely met during the first year of his term. His only talent that shines in the dark is his gaslighting of the British citizens. This is what he does. It's what they all do. Because he's part of the League to destroy the West. He's a member of the Trilateral Commission, active participant in the WEF. He's a member of the Fabian Society. Of course he is. He collaborates with BlackRock, promoting UK as a target for their destructive investment schemes. Now, to be fair, Starmer did inherit 14 years of significant Tory destruction. But he is unabashedly expanding and deepening the damage they cause. For example, as of this recording, nearly 4% inflation, double the Bank of England's target. Food prices expected to rise by 6% by year's end. Unemployment at a 4-year high. Business closings, the highest rate since COVID. GDP per capita now lower than Italy. Frighteningly low standard of living for Britons today. Housing prices are completely unaffordable. They are in America too. Net migration of 400,000 per year in a country of 57 million. That's stunning. Immigrant housing, taxpayer funded, of course, is projected to have increased by 8% in 2025 at a cost of £6 million per day, £2.2 billion in a year. And just yesterday, Starmer announced that Britain will soon be implementing digital ID cards, a vital component to execute global economic and behavioral control of the population. These ideas are required, Starmer claims, to effectively deport the illegal migrants out of Britain. Of course they are. Yet another example of a government creating a chaotic problem so they can put forth a solution that will help them execute control mechanisms that has nothing to do with the problem it's supposed to be addressing. It's incredible. Further insight into Starmer's government can be seen in a recent court case in the small town of Epping, just outside of London, in which the court was asked to consider shutting down a migrant hotel that houses about 140 illegal aliens in a city, mind you, of a population of about 10,000. 2 of these residents recently attacked and abused some number of young girls. The Home Office stated in court documents that, listen to this, quote, the duty of asylum seekers under international law outweighs local concerns. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? The local citizenry isn't what matters. What matters are the invading, mostly young adult male foreigners being used as a tool of destruction. Destruction of a nation, of a culture, of a people. This is a world turned completely upside down. There are, to be sure, many parallels to be drawn between where the British citizenry finds themselves today and the situation in which Americans find themselves. But I want to be clear, to look at the future of the British is a look at the potential future for Americans. Now, the British have been executing this plan for literally decades, and America did not really kick this off until a piece of humanity named Joe Biden found himself in the Oval Office. Although many of the pieces were snuck into place by previous presidents, especially Obama. And then when Biden got in, he just unashamedly and openly promoted this lunacy for everyone to see. And Hillary would have done the same thing if she'd been elected in 2016. This was the plan. It's the plan in much of the West. The people of Britain are truly at their wits' end. They're frustrated beyond compare, and the anger is reaching a very serious level at this point. Protests and demonstrations against migrant hotels, against the abuse of women and girls, against the violent crime, rejecting a government that has become the enemy of the people, are nearly nonstop, and a violent element is quickly creeping into these protests between everyday citizens, the police, and the mentally deranged far left who actually try to defend these destructive policies. I would highly recommend you follow some of the YouTubers that are documenting these protests, such as Charles Veach, 2C TV, Wesley Winter, Billy Moore. There's many of them. These bloggers cover nearly all the protests, and they cover them well. And you can really see what's going on beyond the mainstream media at these events. But if you look at the comments they receive, you'll get a very good sense of how furious the British people are. A good gauge is to count how often you see the words civil war in the comments. The pot is boiling over. The passions are blazing hot. The collapse of civility is a hair trigger away. The country is resting on a knife's edge. So, as Americans, we should fully understand that when we look at what's happening in England, we are literally looking at the possible future of America. The progressive socialist nightmare of Biden is not gone. It's just being suppressed. And if and when the progressive return to power, and I do believe they will at some point, they will immediately return to their plan with unbridled aggression and speed. So, to my American friends, how should Americans respond to this? We should be grateful, number one, that we live in America and we have the ability to elect a change agent like President Trump, who is doing his best to reverse the damage to our country from the 12 years of Obama and then Biden. We should be extremely troubled that the very foundation of our morality, our values, and our system of government is under serious threat of being radically altered or completely wiped out. Simply put, we should care about the UK a lot. We should pay attention. We should support our British patriot brothers and sisters, encourage them, and stand with them. We should support President Trump in any way we can, and support the continuation of his vision after his term. Because if we can show the remainder of the Western world that this demonic and evil destruction of a free and safe society can indeed be stopped and reversed in America, that no matter how bleak the landscape is at this moment, all is not lost. We will give the British people something they desperately need right now, and that is hope. This is what the British need right now, more than anything else, in order for them to ride out the next few years of a government gone mad. If you found this video to be helpful, you'll do me a great favor by clicking the like button. I'm very interested in what you think, whether you agree or disagree with what I've said, so please leave a comment if you're so inclined. And thank you for watching.